Hey everybody, it's Dennis again, and today, step 3. I'm going to read step 3 as it is the short version. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives to the care of God as we understood Him. Now, step 3 is, I'm not going to say it's one of my favorite steps because it actually is not. I'll tell you why. Because a step to me is a very tangible thing that you take. Maybe not tangible, but it is something that you take. You know, step 1, okay, we stopped drinking. Step 2, okay, we started talking to people and we started believing in something greater than ourselves, and our sanity started coming back. Okay, so I get that. I get those two things. Those are things that I can do. I can start talking. I can start thinking differently by what I'm hearing from other people. Step 3 is just less of a thing that you can actually do today. I mean, people will say, yes, you can. You just, hand your will over. Well, that's not something that you can just really do today. I mean, you can try, and I'm asking you to do that, but I understand the challenge there, because truly, to do something like this is more of a gradual way of living, where your faith comes in and becomes stronger. You can say you have you have faith and everything, but if you're new to it, if you're new to a faith that is really, really deep into you, if you're new to that, it's a gradual process. It's a relationship that you start building. And that's really what we're talking about here in step 3, is your relationship with your higher power, with your God, with whatever you're calling as your objective source that's tethering you to reality. I know this is getting kind of boring and icky and all that, but that's why step 3 is actually kind of difficult, because the discussions get very out there, and they're not here now today, right? And if you say, oh, you know what, Dennis, I've got this big thing going on in my life right now, and I'll say, oh, just hand it over to God. That's not gonna happen. You're still gonna pull it back. That's just the way it's gonna be. So, the step 3, like I said, is really a growing relationship that you have with your higher power, so that you are incorporating your higher power into your life more. And there are certain things that first of all, the reason why we have this here is to help take away the stresses of your life that might cause you to drink. 1, 2, and 3 are, you're really starting out in sobriety, and it's the scary parts of sobriety in the beginning, and we're trying to make it easier for you by, having you find a community, having you have a God, and then relying on that community and your God. And that's really what we're talking about here. But again, in your daily life, changing the way you think is not going to happen overnight. And that's why I have a problem with certain steps. Really, 3, 6, and 7 are like this, where it's just not that clear what to do. I mean, you're told what to do, but it's really not clear on how to actually make this happen. And like I say, it happens slowly more and more. And people will say, oh, you'll never do it perfectly. And and this isn't a complaint about step 3. It's just clarity on what it truly is and how it will work. It'll slowly come into your life so that you will have less of the stress because you've given it over to God. I don't worry so much anymore because of my reliance on God. It didn't happen because I made a decision to do that. It happened because my reliance on God grew as my faith grew. And I truly see that things that I worry about often are silly and stupid, and they go away. So I'm going to give you something I did when I first started out, to get an idea of how your brain is working. If you have something going on in your life right now that's a really big thing that's in your day right now that's driving you crazy, it's a big problem, and you don't say you need to go to the dentist and they want to take out 3 teeth and you're freaking out over that or something like that. I don't know. You have your driver's ed appointment, whatever, something that's really just knotting you up inside. I want you to go to a calendar-y thing that you have. Go into your calendar and go about 3 weeks ahead. This day, 3 weeks from now. And write in that calendar what is going on that's driving you crazy today now. Do that every time something's coming up. 3 weeks from now, write that down, okay? I will tell you, when that day comes and you see what you were so consumed over, and it's not there anymore. It's gone. It was never anything really big. And as you go through this and you're saying, gee, I was all upset over that. You realize how small these things are. Now that's not really a step 3 thing because it didn't involve God so much, but it did bring you back to the reality of, your emotions are really strong. And you'll start realizing that the big things aren't really that big. And, these things are stupid little things. They'll be the things that drive you toward a drink. I really, I hesitate putting this out there because it does sound like a complaint on step 3, and it's not. It's just letting you know that it's not a clear step. It's really about the building of a relationship with a God, with a higher power that will help you get through the day and not worry about the things that you worry about. And you just hand these big things over to God and these little things over to God. And you do it just by your relationship. And like I said, you can make that decision to do it, right? But you're going to pull it back today. You're going to be in traffic and start getting all crazy about traffic because, you can do something about that. Not really. So, step 3 will hopefully come into your life. At least now you acknowledge what you're trying to do here with your relationship in God. And you will realize that there's a certain freedom that will slowly come to you as you rely in your faith. And, I've talked about it before. When you go to meetings and you'll see certain people who have this certain peace on their face. There's a look that they have. The AA look I used to call it, or I call it now. And it's just that they're at peace, right? They're just really okay with the world around them. That's step 3. A lot of it, the other steps as well, but a lot of that is step 3, where they're really at peace with themselves, with the world around them, and with God. Thanks, and hope you're having a good day.